Hello, welcome everyone to another Transformers toy review. Today we're taking a look at Transformers the movie studio series Scourge. He's a Voyager size figure. It's from the '86 movie. We've already taken a quick look at the packaging at one of my YouTube shorts. So this is where we're going to take a look at the figure and do a bit of a comparison against the previous Titans Return Scourge. Just to have a look at the differences, and we'll also do some comparisons along the way. So we'll bring in Cyclonus as well, and the current Galvatron, the Titans Return one, to see what they look like alongside each other. Unfortunately, I don't have the Kingdom Galvatron just yet, so but I will review him once I do, and we can always take a look at him with Scourge once that arrives. Funny enough, Scourge has been, I won't say in the news, but it's been featured on a lot of the Transformers news websites recently because they're doing a sweep. And from what I can see, it's exactly the same. They've just renamed the packaging sweep rather than Scourge, I think. There's a slightly different picture on the front. But all the pictures I can see, it doesn't look as if there's any colour variation. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like, it's just in a different box. That is it. But I suppose that means there's going to be a few more floating around, and people can buy them, and people are buying Scourges, and they can have one as Scourge and one as Sweep, entirely up to them. I do have two. So I've got this one and another one, so I may well pick up another as well, or I may just have my Titans Returns figures as the sweeps. Who knows? Anyway, here he is. This is the kind of background that he comes with, and with the '86 thing on the side here, it kind of fully opens up, and you can see shrapnel and kickback there being kind of reformatted. And here, Scourge there kind of in the middle. So it's pretty cool. Obviously, there's a bit of a debate over, which one he was. For me, I always think with the colours and everything that this guy was kind of reformatted from Thundercracker, and Cyclonus from Skywarp. But I know people have different opinions on that, but I won't go into that. Anyway. I'll move the background out of the way so you can take a look at that. But yeah, so the background's pretty good. They do take up a fair bit of room if you do want to kind of put them on display. That's the only thing really to be aware of. It comes with a gun and this blast effect here, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like a swirly purple plastic thing. I do have a few others, so you can obviously replace the blast effects and use different ones. So these ones are from Hot Rod, so you can use those, and normally you can place them different places here to sort of there's normally little notches where you can make out that he's been shot and things like that as well. And you can, I guess you can also put these on here in vehicle mode to make it look like he's either shooting or kind of taken off, I guess. That's a kind of look from the back. So there is a fair bit of kind of kibble on him, I guess. There's a little spot there for a flight stand, and additional kind of spots here where you can add in kind of like the weaponizers and stuff like this. So it is kind of compatible with some of the kind of Kingdom and other Siege stuff. So it does kind of fit in with that. The figure himself looks pretty good. Like I said, you've got this blast effect, which is pretty nice. So that's kind of a unique mold that they've done with that. And I do quite like these blast effects. This one's a little bit more rigid than some of the other ones. In fact, I do have a few others that I'm working on with. I'm working on these with Nathan, and he actually did a load for me. I haven't painted them all, I've just dropped one. So he did some which would actually glow in the dark, which is really awesome, but a few also that were painted. So I don't know if you can make out these. So these are kind of casts of the orange ones. So pop those on there. So I've got a few different ones in here. I think these ones were the like glow in the dark ones. Probably can't see that very well, but yeah, got a few kind of different ones in here. And he was really good with that. So he was really good at doing the molds and then sort of pouring the kind of like resin stuff into it. So I've got probably, how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them all together. So a load of extras like blast effects. Yeah, he's pretty creative with all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. I still yet to find out who did that. Those gifts. I don't know if it was Nathan. If it is, he's keeping them tight-lipped. Anyway, back to the video. Taking a look at Scourge. His head, the sculpt is Fan Dabby Dozy. It's really good. I love the facial hair on Scourge. You know, it just makes him really unique and more human. But I guess just like an evil-looking guy. I just love the look on him. The eyes, the nose and everything. It's really good. He's got a real grumpy face on him. You've got quite a human face in this kind of box around it. I really do like the look of that. You don't get much up on this, but you do get a little bit down. You can do a bit of a side to side if you want to get in the confused Scourge look. Yes, that's good, and it does rotate around as well. And then this bit does also rotate around and can come out as well. So you've got that. The arms go up to here, back to there. They're kind of limited because of the backpack. Obviously, you can move them all the way around if it's out of the way, but it is in the way. Arms up to there. It's kind of like on this kind of disc bit here. And even the insides of these are kind of painted a little bit as well. This swivels around the arm and bends up to there. Nice paints on the arms here and here. And then the hands as well are really nice. They rotate around, I think. Yeah, they do rotate around. But they're painted. Oh, there's a bit of a stiff connection on there. They're painted, and then the pink paint on here, the fingers, and it's kind of that kind of hand where it's kind of it's not just set like that, like say the Titan's Return figure like that. It just makes it look a lot more realistic, I think. And on here you've got a bit of blue paint and Decepticon symbol, which is nicely done. Again, more of this kind of baby blue paint in here as well, which looks fan dabby dozy. It's twice I said that. Waist articulation goes all the way around, and leg, that goes, I think this is painted. Yeah, it's painted. Got a little chip paint on here, so just be careful as you're moving it around. You may just like take a little bit of paint off it. So the leg going forward doesn't go forward a great deal, but I guess enough. And then moving back, if you move these bits out of the way, it can go back to there. I know there's a lot of kibble around here, but it does, you know, that's kind of the figure, that's how he looks. And then back to there. Is there a swivel in there? There's a little bit of movement at the top here from side to side. The leg does bend back to there. And then you kind of got a bit of a tilt on here, which comes out to there. So a little bit of a rocker on there. And then the feet, you've got this bit here, which moves forward and back, as I've said. And he holds his gun nice, and you've got additional slots here for other weapons and things like that. And on the back, so lots of different places where you can add guns. And generally, I think he displays pretty well. He's quite an imposing sort of figure, in my opinion. So there he is there. And then I'll bring in, this is actually the Takara Legends version. So probably slightly different color scheme. but it's kind of like the Titans Return version of him. So that is the kind of Legends one, side by side. So I'll just put them bang on side to side so you can see them like that. So as you can see, the Titans Return one is a good deal smaller with being a deluxe size. And obviously there's a bit of difference with the colours as well. I'm just going to bring in the Titans Return one as well, just so you can see them side by side. This one I've got actually has been painted a few places, but again it's a different colour scheme as well. So bring them all in, you can kind of see the kind of differences kind of roughly. I'm just going to put this guy at the back and then these guys at the front so you can see what they look like. So you could kind of have like a mix of these guys in here if you wanted to, just to have them all on display. And then if I just move the Scourge and Sweeps out of the way, I'll just bring in Cyclonus. See how those two display next to each other. And that kind of looks about right, I think. With Cyclonus just being a little bit taller, but you know, they do look pretty good together. And then if I bring in Galvatron, fortunately it is the Titans Return one, so I don't think he looks quite right, but it'll give you an idea as to what they look all together. You know, the Galvatron's not perfect by any means, but it'll do in the meantime until I get the other version through. So that's what they look like all next to each other. And then I'm just going to move that off to the side. Next up, we're going to get this guy transformed, and we're going to take a look at him in his vehicle mode. Right, so let's get this guy transformed. Okay, so first thing you want to do, move sleeves and stuff out of the way, is take off the gun. So just pop that off to the side. You can pull these kind of back a little bit just to give yourself a bit of room. These legs want to peg together like so. These then fold in underneath like that, and the other one like so, and they don't quite go all the way in. I have tried doing this the other way around, but this foot doesn't go in, so I think it is that one and then that one. Then these arm pieces here are going to unpeg from the side and come out, and then you just notice there's this bit here and that will peg into the side there. Just bring this down and just line it up like so, and then the same on the other side like so. You kind of get them into a certain position, then all of this kind of stuff kind of folds in and around him. So next up, get this back piece out and you bring this forward like that, which kind of unpegs from these bits either side. And then this kind of all kind of comes out like this. And you kind of want to straighten this back piece up. That this piece is going to come up like that. It will fold into the back of there, but don't know if you want to straighten this up yet. Like that. And then there's a couple of notches on here. Feed into there. So just pop those down. That. This bit is going to come back into here and peg into there. And this bit's going to come back and it should cover the face. You may have to adjust it just to line it all up. That's pretty much as as it should be. These bits are going to come out and around down here. Like that. This bit will come up and these bits out to the side. So same on the other side, like that, and like that. And then, make sure that's lined up. This piece then is going to come forward into that gap there and peg in, and then that peg into the side just here where my thumb is, like that. And then there's a peg in there, and then like a mushroom one on this side. So this one's easiest peg on this side. This one, you kind of have to line it up and then just put a little bit of pressure in it, on it. Just make sure you're lined up properly. And it's straight. There we go. It just clicks in. Yeah, so that's fine. And then you want to do the same on this side here, but you've also got the thing where the nose cone has to kind of line up as well. It's a little bit more tricky doing the second one. There we go. So that's clicked into place there. Bring this bit down. Push these bits in like that. And then these bits on the side are fairly easy. This one, these mushroom bits, the only bit that are kind of mushroom pegs are a little bit tricky. But once you kind of got them lined up, you don't want to put too much pressure, but just make sure it is lined up properly. And it should, he says, just clip it and you'll just hear a little click as it does. There we go. So it's clipped in, and then these bits here just kind of fold over into that space like so. And there he is. Oh, these bits come up like that as well. Oh, that bit's come undone. So I think that's all done. And that bit's sort of come undone a little bit, but that is basically your kind of vehicle mode. So your kind of space shuttle thing. Yeah, it's pretty good. You can add your gun on as well. So that can peg into either side. I guess you can't quite plug it in here, so you'd probably need to peg it in more like that and do it that way. I mean, underneath you can see the kind of legs and the arms in there. You've got your thrusters on the back, so you could add something on the back there if you needed to. I can't see where you would put the flight stand. I don't know if it's... No, that's the silver bit in there. I can't quite see how you get to the flight stand from here unless you just pop something in there maybe. These bits kind of move around here. Nice Decepticon symbol on here. Just make sure it's all lined up properly. And these bits are all painted. It's done really well. Nicely done, I think, here. Well, again, all of this is kind of baby blue paint, which has been added and done nicely. Obviously, you get your blast effect here, which you can add onto this piece here, or you can add it to any of these on here. I've got my own blast effects, which I showed off earlier on, so I can... Got these orange blast effects, which are pretty cool. I'm going to add them onto here. Like that. And he's all armored up and ready to shoot some Autobots out of the sky. Maybe even Ultra Magnus. And here is the kind of Titan's Return one. So you can see there's a fair bit of difference in kind of style and size. This one, the new one's very much going for the look of the kind of cartoon model, so it's much more accurate to that. This one's still a good toy, but this new one does feel a lot more sophisticated in its looks, and also kind of this transformation with it. It just feels a little bit more kind of well done. That's not to say that the other one isn't, but Yeah, I think looking at the two side by side, it's clear which one is the kind of better mold and better toy, in my opinion. The other one's still pretty good. I do like the fact all these blast effects that you can now use alongside these. Yeah, mine just it's come and pegged a little bit, so I don't know, maybe along here if I got something that isn't quite lined up properly, but actually that seems to have done the trick. So whether or not I had one of the legs kind of lined up well, but yeah, there he is. That's him in his vehicle mode. Next up, what we'll do is we'll bring in Cyclonus and take a look at the two side by side. And there he is alongside Cyclonus there. And in terms of scale and looks, I think that looks just about perfect. No complaints there. Cyclonus is a little bit longer, and but color scheme, scale looks spot on to me. Next up, we'll take a look at him back in his robot mode and do our kind of final thoughts. Right, here he is back in his robot mode. Only quick thing to mention, I mentioned about his hands. He's got this kind of splayed fingers on the left arm. On the right, it is like a fist, but it is still not just a random close fist. But it's quite unusual that they chose to do that with the hand. So you do have two kind of separate kind of things that are going on there, which is a little bit unusual, but still good. Pleased that they did that. Adds a little bit more detail. But overall, I have to say, for me, this figure is a strong recommend. Transformation's good, lots of paint. The face sculpt is fantastic. And also as well, if you compare this against what he looked like in the movie, it's absolutely spot on. I've seen some pictures side by side, and you know, it looks just like in the silhouette of it all. I mean, you could argue with the transformation there is a bit of, you know, it's a fair bit of back kibble that you have to, and he is kind of like a shell former to a certain degree. You know, you sort of fold everything round, but you know, what were you expecting from a Scourge toy? You know, I think most Scourge toys have an element of that going on, whether it's Titans Returns or third-party figures, whatever it is, they've kind of got that going on just because of the nature of the vehicle mode. But yeah, really good solid toy overall. Nice paint apps. He just looks cool. Really good presence on the shelf. Thoroughly recommend if you can get him. Whether or not you can get some sweeps to go alongside him is another matter, but very good. Anyway, that's it for now, for guys. Spit my words out. That is it for now, guys. I will be getting Galvatron coming up soon. I didn't notice they had him on in stock somewhere. So even though I've got him pre-order somewhere else, I have put an order in. So he should be arriving in the next few days. So I should be able to put this review out, and then you should see a review of Galvatron following this. Anyway, bye-bye for now, guys. Thanks for watching.